This is gonna be a fun one, I can already tell. Welcome, everyone. Fans of the channel, fans of the series, fans of this game, welcome to the review of Far Cry 3. There's a reason why I'm reviewing this game, and I'll tell you later on in the video. But I figured I'd go back to a former classic game of mine. That game that started my love for one of my favorite gaming series of all time. This is Far Cry 3. This is more than a game for me. This is an experience. This is an adventure. Like I said earlier, this is the game that got me addicted to the Far Cry series. Now, you may be saying, Marcus, why are you doing a review on a game this old? Well, I'll give you the simple answer of this. I'm doing this because I'm going to do a playthrough of this game. That's why I'm doing a review on it first. Because I'm going to do some parts and playthroughs of this game. Now, I'll get to the review. Things that I like about Far Cry 3. Of course, when talking about Far Cry, you have to talk about the villain. Voz. Voz is easily one of the best villains in gaming history. He's my second favorite Far Cry villain behind Pagan Ming. But what a character. He is psychotic, he is insane, but he fits the motive and reasoning to be a good villain. Actually, not just a good villain, he's a great villain. He's a top villain. He isn't even in the game he's not even in the game for that long, but when he's in the game, he is amazing. He makes every scene about him feel so amazing to watch. Watching Voz talk and do motions is like watching a person acting for a movie. Voz is a person in the game who feels like an everyday person in the tropics that just goes insane and becomes a gang leader. That's Voz. Voz is just an insane guy who has lost his brain, who leads a gang of pirates, who wants to take you down. And you, I mean Jason Brody. That's another positive of this game, Jason Brody's story. The story / Jason's journey into madness is great. For fans of the game, the story is basically you're Jason Brody. You're having a little party trip with a group of friends, and you end up skydiving onto the Rook Islands. And then shit goes sideways. You're captured by Voz and his pirate gang, and you have to escape into the islands. And then you're forced to get back all your friends, while doing not just with Voz's group of pirates, but with a tribe of warriors. That in itself is just amazing. And like I said with Jason's story, he goes through the simple everyday party guy who just wants to get out in the world and experience a life of his own, to a psychotic killer who will kill for anyone. And for people that play this game, you definitely know the lengths Jason will go to get what he wants after he kills for the first few times of his life. Another huge positive of the Rook Islands itself. This is probably, in the whole series, the Rook Islands is probably my favorite environment of the whole series. Just because it's so immersive. It's cool just to adventure of tropical islands like the Rook Islands. There's, like I said, anything can kill you. Pirates, animals, tribes, other people that you're just trying to help kill you. And like I said, Rook Islands, it's a tropical bunch of islands filled with the brain with sharks, flying birds, boars. I believe there's also there's tigers in this game. There's doctors that with drugs, everything. It's just packed to the brim with a sick look, action, intense moments when you're on the Rook Islands. And the moments in this game is also awesome. The soundtrack also gets a huge positive. And like right now, you're listening to the main menu theme. This is a great main menu theme, and the menu itself also is a positive. It controls amazingly well. That's another positive. The controls. But going back to the soundtrack just knows when to kick in so amazingly well. Just kicks in perfectly in these tense moments, and it knows when to be sad, it knows when to be emotional, it knows when to be awesome. And here's a plus for Far Cry 6 for people that have played the DLC of 6. Involves a part of Voz in it, because one of the stories in the DLCs you play as Voz, and the whole soundtrack of that DLC is a remix of 3, which is amazing. Other natives, yeah, the game kind of ages a little bit since it's an older game, but the age doesn't really show too much, but there's a little age to it. And the only really true native in my eyes is that there's not enough Voz. That's the only native to me, that there's not enough Voz. But other than that, like I said, this is easily one of my favorite video games of all time. Top 15 probably, or top 20 my favorite games of all time. Yeah, I'm gonna put actually it's in my top 15 probably favorite games of all time. Because it has, like I said, it had a lot to do with me and my love of this series and how it's opened me up to a whole bunch of other open world games. First time I played this, so I remember correctly, was at a friend's house. He had this game, and he said to me, "Merst, would you like to try this game out with me, since you don't have too much experience with open worldy type games like this?" And I said, "You know what, sure, I'll come down and sit and play with you." To play Far Cry 3, and this is the original version of Far Cry 3. This wasn't with the DLC, this isn't the Classic Edition. This is the first time, since the first like original version of the game, which came out on PS3 and Xbox 360. I remember playing it, and I was immersed in the experience, and I just got hooked into it. And every time I'd go over to my friend's house, I'd always say to him, "Can you play Far Cry 3 again?" And we kept playing it. I remember even 100%ed it on his console. And I remember getting the PlayStation 4, and I remember buying the game, and the other games of the series, 4 and 5, at that time, and I always saw 100%ed and platinum to the game. Just because games like that, if anyone remembers games with impact on your lives, you remember playing it for the first time, and it's done so much to change you as a gamer, you would always want to play it on every new console, and you always want to have it in your back pocket, just to remember all the moments it has had in your life. And this is one of those games. For me, Far Cry 3 won't get. It's always have gotten this rating for me. It's always gotten a 9.4 for me. It's always gotten a 9.4. And it's always been 9.4 no matter what edition. It's always been 9.4. I only bumped, well actually no. It's a 9.4 because it got bumped up due to the DLC and stuff. But it's always been a 9.4. Which would be on my top 20 list of favorite games of all time. That's number 12. I believe this is number 12 on my top 15 games of all time, / favorite games of all time. And that's also due to my ratings. Yeah, this is my second favorite game of the whole series. My favorite's 4. And the only reason why Far Cry 4 is my favorite out of 3 is because of Pagan Ming. And some other stuff to do with the location and enemies in that game. Mainly the enemies, but Far Cry 4 is only like, is a is tied with Far Cry 3 in rating at 9.4. Every game above that is above 4 and 3 are 9.5 or higher. I've never named a game a 10 because there's no perfect game. But like I said, these two games are like neck and neck. Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 comes to me in my top 15 favorite games of all time, just that both of them had such an impact in my gaming life. And now I'll get to the channel update that I have for today. Channel update. So right now, of course, we'll have, of course, WWE 2K22. That'll be still going on. I plan on doing it in a stream of that Tuesday. Either Tuesday, Monday will be the stream of WWE 2K22. If it's not one of those days, then it'll be definitely Wednesday. All depends on what happens those days for me. NBA's coming back. NBA will be back Monday. Playing some of that. Of course, NHL. Still be going strong. Still be doing its thing. And of course, I'll be uploading videos of Far Cry 3. Which some people will say, oh, Marcus, you're more of a sports guy, so why are you doing, playthroughs? Because I'm showing people playing through some of my favorite games in my life. This is one of my favorites. If I had to do games that have impacted my life as a gamer, this is probably either one or two. This has impacted my life very big, this game has as a gamer. It's gotten me into the open world craze. It's gotten me into awesome villains, and this whole series is a part. And that's why I have it so high in my top favorite games of all time. Because it's done so much for my life of gaming. And another little update for the channel. I'll keep reviews, of course. I'm going to do reviews of games. Expect a review of Evil West, either later on this upcoming weekend or the week after. Depends on when I finish the game. Expect also a review on the new game that's coming out next Friday, the Calypso Protocol. On either in the middle of December. I know that game's gonna be amazing. The Calypso Protocol. Also expect a review in December of the game High on Life. I'll explain that game when I do the review of that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this little mini awesome review of one of my most influential games of my life and one of my favorite games of all time, Far Cry 3. And to end this video, I'll end it with the classic, iconic line that Voz has always said, and everyone remembers from the game. Do you know the definition of insanity?